Hello and welcome to the channel Ginger Ninja's Movie Reviews. I am the Ginger Ninja and these are my movie reviews. If you're new to the channel, thank you very much for tuning in, stopping by and checking it out. You've come in at a really exciting time. It's Sci Fi July and it's Tubi Tuesday. We're in the second week of this, and what I'm doing is I'm looking at sci-fi movies that I found on Tubi, and this one is no exception. This week we're looking at Jumper from 2008. This one was directed by Doug Liman. It stars Hayden Christensen, Rachel Bilson, Jamie Bell, Diane Lane, Michael Rooker, and Samuel L. Jackson. Now, before we begin, I do want to say a big thank you to all my new subscribers and of course my existing subscribers. Thank you very much for joining me on this journey as we look at movies that I do enjoy and of course some that I don't. Now, I will be discussing plot specifics and spoilers, so if you have not seen this film, you've been warned. A teenager with teleportation abilities suddenly finds himself in the middle of an ancient war between those like him, Jumpers, and their sworn annihilators, Paladins. Now, I'm going to start out with the cast. And look, we all know that Hayden Christensen, he got a lot of shit from his turn as Anakin Skywalker. But he is good in this. I think he is a good actor if he's given the right role and the right script. He does what he can with this one. He doesn't have a lot to work with though. And there is a lot about the characters, which I will touch on the writing and the rewatchability as well. So bear with me while I get through them, because a lot of these things are all intertwined into likes and dislikes of this movie. So like I said, he does a good job with this, with what he's given, which, like I said, not a lot. Rachel Bilson is very much the same. Her character is very, paper thin, really. There's not a lot to her. She's there as a love interest. She adds a little bit of romance to the mix, but that's it. Same with Jamie Bell's character, Griffin. He could have been a huge character, a really good character. He's interesting, but you're not given enough to really figure him out. Like, there's a whole story behind it, but they don't really delve into it. Samuel L. Jackson, again, character is menacing, but there's just not enough meat on the bones to these characters. The performances are great, it's a solid cast, and they do really well in these roles, but they're not given enough to work with. Now, part of that is the writing, which I'll touch on in a minute. I'm going to look at the directing and the writing now. So the directing of the movie, it's a fast-paced movie, and it's pretty quick, which keeps the energy at a high throughout. I really enjoyed the first act in this film. It's just full on, it's intense, and it's a lot of fun to watch. If you're looking for an entertaining escape without having to invest a whole lot of time, this is pretty much it. Now, that is a good thing and a bad thing, and again, I will touch on that in a little bit, so bear with me. Eventually, all these little threads will tie together. The story moves along quite swiftly. You're not in one place for too long, because they are constantly jumping from place to place to place, and that moves the story forward and keeps you invested, because where are they going to next? You never really know. It looks good the way they do it as well. I'll admit the plot, like I said, it's a bit light. It's not the most complex or thought-provoking story, but there was a story there. It just didn't have enough to it. The effects on the other hand, in this film are great. They are a real highlight. The teleportations look good. The scars they leave, the effect there looks fantastic. When they land, it looks good. Everything about it is stunning, and they are choreographed seamlessly into the film. And it's like watching a cat jump around, but if a cat is hopped up on Red Bull and jumping around, it's really cool to watch. You'll be kept on the edge of your seat as you do this, and you see the characters fight, leap off buildings, and appear out of thin air, or drive out of thin air. If you've seen it, you'll know what I mean. It was a really cool scene. Now, tying all these threads together is the rewatchability. And this is a really tough one. I felt that the ending was very lackluster and that it was setting itself up for a sequel or a few sequels or spin-offs, which never eventuated. And that openness to the ending makes it difficult to rewatch when you know the ending isn't satisfying and it leaves you unfulfilled. So on the plus side to that, there's a lot of history there they could have went into. And I allow it to make my own little headcanon. And there is a film that came out about a year later, which I see being set in the same Jumperverse as this. And it was a movie called Push. Now this one had Chris Evans, Dakota Fanning, Camilla Bell, yeah, and had a very similar feel. So, superpowered people being hunted by a shadowy government organisation. Sounds a bit familiar, right? So these two films could have, in my head, been set in the same universe. You've got teleportation, telepathy, telekinesis. Being hunted by a shadowy organisation. Yeah, kind of works for me. So, yeah, there's a lot of history there, and there was the opportunity. But like I said, this movie kind of really got a bad run upon release. It just had a bad shake. It didn't really take off. If it had, I feel that ending would have been left, whilst it would have been left open, there would have been sequels, there would have been spin-offs, there would have been more to it. It would have been definitely, the ending would have been good. But being a singular film, leaving it open like that really, really sticks it in you, you know? But look, overall, it is a pretty cool flick. And like I said, I got to feel it got a pretty bad shake upon release, but if you're looking for a fun, fast-paced sci-fi action adventure that delivers, this is a good one to start with. It's a fun ride. It's not going to win any awards for its storytelling or anything like that, but like I said, if you're in the mood for a relaxed but action-packed sci-fi adventure, it's worth checking out. Sit back and enjoy the teleportation extravaganza. I will say, I do like the concept of teleportation. I think it's a great idea and they do it really well in this. I mean, imagine it's freezing cold here. You just want to be somewhere where it's nice and warm. You're on a beach. How cool would that be? Anyway, look, overall for a score, I would give Jumper 7 out of 10. Like I said, remember this is my opinion. Take it with a grain of salt. Go see the movie for yourself. Enjoy it, don't enjoy it, but let me know what you thought of the film down in the comments below. Now, if you haven't already, please do give this video a thumbs up. It'd be much appreciated and helps with that whole YouTube algorithm thing. And of course, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell and you will be notified every time I do release a new video. Mondays and Tuesdays, I've got my theme reviews, my Tubi reviews. Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, I've got my 60-second reviews, quick little snippets of reviews of movies I watched during the week. And of course, most importantly, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.